Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking up at the sky to talk about something literally all around us. It's completely invisible, but it's strong enough to shape our entire planet. Yep, I'm talking about the invisible giant we call the wind. Let's dive right in and discover how we're actually learning to catch this giant. And use its incredible power to light up our world.
Now think about it. Have you ever stepped outside on a blustery day and felt the wind just, push against you? Maybe it messed up your hair or nearly blew your hat right off your head. Well, that invisible push, that isn't just weather, it's pure raw energy. And for thousands of years, we humans have been trying to figure out how to actually catch that energy instead of just letting it blow right past us. But hey, before we can catch it, we gotta know what it actually is, right? Wind is, very simply, moving air. And believe it or not, it all starts with the sun. When the sun shines, it heats up the Earth's atmosphere, the land and the water. But it doesn't heat everything evenly. So the warm air gets light and rises up, while the cooler, heavier air sinks right down to take its place. This constant swirling and swapping of hot and cold air, it creates this massive, invisible engine in our atmosphere. And that movement is exactly what we call wind. Now, the scientific name for this specific kind of power is kinetic energy. And kinetic energy is really just a fancy way of saying the energy of motion. If you're running across a playground, you have kinetic energy. When a baseball is flying through the air, kinetic energy. So when millions of tons of air are rushing across the sky, wow, that is a massive amount of kinetic energy just waiting to be used. And humans actually figured out how to use this moving air an incredibly long time ago. We're talking around 7,000 years ago, when ancient Egyptians used the wind to push the sails of their boats right down the Nile River. Fast forward a bit to the 11th century, and people were building these big wooden windmills to grind up grain for bread or to pump water. But the real magic? That happened in 1887, when a brilliant professor in Scotland built the very first windmill designed specifically to create electricity. And we've been perfecting that invention ever since.
This actually brings us to a brilliant way to understand how modern wind turbines work. Just think of them as the exact opposite of something you probably have sitting in your bedroom right now. Think about a normal cooling fan. You plug it into the wall, it uses electricity to spin its blades, and it pushes air at you to cool you down, right? Well, a wind turbine works in reverse. The wind pushes the blades, which makes them spin, and that spinning is what creates the electricity.
We're actually going to do a quick, fun experiment to show you exactly how this works. But first, a super important safety disclaimer. Please always make sure to ask an adult for help when doing any science experiments at home, especially if you're using things like pins or scissors. Safety is absolutely always our #1 priority in the lab.
All right, so here's a super simple experiment you can do. Cut a piece of paper into a star shape, fold the edges in, and use a push pin to attach the center to a wooden stick. Boom, you've just made a pinwheel. Now take a deep breath and blow really hard on the edges of the paper. Watch what happens. Your breath, which is basically wind, pushes the paper, turning your wind energy directly into rotational energy. You're literally making the pinwheel spin.
Section 1. How do we catch the giant? So how exactly do we scale up your little paper pinwheel into a massive machine that can power an entire city? Well, it all starts with the shape of the blades. See, they aren't just flat pieces of wood. They're curved in a very specific, clever way called an airfoil. When the wind blows over this curved shape, it creates this magical force called aerodynamic lift. Because the air moves faster over the curved side than the flat side, it creates a pressure difference that literally lifts the blade, forcing it to rotate. It's actually the exact same science that helps heavy airplanes lift off the ground and fly through the sky. Okay, so the blades catch that lift and start to spin. Now, these blades are connected to a hub, and together they're called the rotor. This rotor is attached to a really big box at the very top of the tower called the nacelle. Inside that box, the magic happens in 4 simple steps. Step 1, the wind pushes the blades. Step 2, the rotor spins a main shaft. Step 3, a gearbox takes that slow spin and speeds it up tremendously. And step 4, that super fast spinning turns a generator, which uses magnets to create electricity. Now, the really crucial point here is just how much that gearbox speeds things up. When you look at a huge wind turbine from the ground, the blades look like they're turning pretty slowly, right? Maybe about 18 times a minute. But inside the nacelle, the gearbox multiplies that speed by 100. It spins the internal shaft at a staggering 1,800 revolutions per minute. That high-speed rotation is exactly what gives the generator the power it needs to produce a massive amount of electricity. Once that electricity is made, it still has to get to you. First, it travels down these incredibly thick cables inside the tall tower. Then it hits a transformer, which increases the voltage so the power can travel super long distances without losing its strength. From there, it travels through an underground power grid. Once it gets close to your neighborhood, another transformer safely lowers the voltage back down. Finally, it travels right into your house. So when you flip a switch, boom, your lights turn on.
And guys, these machines are absolutely massive. To catch as much wind as possible, engineers have had to build them bigger and bigger over the years. Some modern turbine blades are over 100 meters long. To put that into perspective, just a single blade from one of these giants is taller than the entire Statue of Liberty. I mean, no way, right? It is truly awe-inspiring engineering, just taking up space in the sky to catch all that kinetic energy.
While they're all super big, they do actually come in a couple of different shapes. The one we see most often is the horizontal axis turbine. This is the one that looks like a giant airplane propeller spinning up in the sky. But there are also vertical axis turbines, where the blades spin around a central pole, kind of looking like a giant egg beater. The horizontal ones are the most common, though, simply because they're incredibly efficient at catching high winds way up tall.
Where we place these giant catchers really matters too. Onshore wind farms are built on land, often on wide-open plains or even the tops of mountains. But engineers have also figured out how to build offshore wind farms directly in the ocean. Ocean winds are usually much stronger and a whole lot more consistent than winds on land. That means offshore turbines can generate a massive amount of power, even though, as you can imagine, they're much trickier to build out there in the deep water.
Section 2, the good and the tricky.
Whenever we change how we get our energy, there are amazing benefits, for sure, but also some real-world challenges. The absolute best part about wind power is that it is a renewable energy. This means it comes from a natural source that will never, ever run out. As long as the sun continues to shine and heat the earth, the wind is going to continue to blow. We don't have to mine it, we don't have to drill for it, and we literally can't use it all up. It's basically a permanent gift from nature. And the advantages don't even stop there. Wind turbines create zero air pollution, so no smoke, no harmful greenhouse gases, plus the fuel to run them, the wind itself, is totally 100% free. And because the turbines stand on these tall, narrow towers, farmers can actually still plant crops or let their animals safely graze right underneath them. It's just incredibly space efficient for the land it occupies.
But, we also have to impartially look at the challenges. The biggest one is intermittency. Basically, sometimes the wind just stops blowing. When that happens, we need big battery systems to store power for us to use. Also, we have to really carefully plan where we build them, because those giant spinning blades can unfortunately be dangerous to migrating birds and bats. Finally, some people find them noisy, since they make a rhythmic swishing sound, and they definitely alter the view of the natural landscape. So, finding the right balance is absolutely key.
Section 3. 5 Fast Wind Facts.
We've covered a whole lot of amazing science today, so let's make sure we've caught the most important details. Here is your rapid-fire summary. Number 1. The sun heats the earth unevenly, creating moving air, which we call wind. Number 2. Turbines are built to catch the wind's kinetic energy, or the energy of motion. Number 3. The curved shape of the blades uses aerodynamic lift to start spinning. Number 4. Inside the box, generators turn that mechanical spin into usable electricity. And number 5. Wind power is wonderfully clean, totally free, and 100% renewable.
To leave you with a real sense of just how impactful this technology has become, consider this number. 16,000. That is the number of homes that can be completely powered by just one single, giant, modern offshore wind turbine. Just one machine out in the ocean, quietly spinning in the breeze, providing clean power for tens of thousands of people. That is just the incredible reality of modern engineering. So, we started off by talking about an invisible giant that pushes us around on blustery days. But now you know that this giant actually holds the key to a cleaner, brighter, and incredibly powerful future. The technology is growing every single day, and we always need curious minds to keep making it better. So are you ready to help catch the invisible giant and power our future? Keep learning, keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.